it's somewhat subjective. Maybe the FDR here. The liberals figured out a long time ago that they did not have a popular mandate to move their policies ahead. Now, this is not an unimportant point. When you don't have a popular mandate, Joe, and you want to implement a national strategy, you're going to have a problem. Why is that? Because elections are generally won on popular support, not popular vote, especially in the presidential, but popular support. You have to be able to appeal to different regions of the country that have different interests. You have to get some kind of mass popular support to win the presidency. Now, if you're looking to implement a national agenda, and if you listen to yesterday's show, I explained why this is important to liberals. Liberals don't want a local agenda. They'll take it if that's all they can get. But liberals want a national agenda. Why? Because when you implement a national agenda, you can't escape liberal policies. And when liberalism, with the essence of liberalism being control, liberals can't control you if you can escape. I live in Palm City, Florida. If Palm City, Florida were to implement some bad policies, I can leave. I can move. I can go over to Stewart. I can go to whatever, Sewell's Point. I can leave. I can move to Texas. Liberals hate that. The essence of liberalism and socialism is control. They're all the same thing. It's control. It's the taking away of your money, your healthcare, your education rights, all of it. They don't like that. They need a national agenda. They can't get a national agenda if they don't have some popular support. They don't. They know they don't. They never have. Liberal policies, high taxes, just to put a face on this so you don't think I'm talking in otherworldly terms to try to confuse you here. High taxes, the taking of your money, the taking and controlling via government of your healthcare, the taking away of education choices for your kids. These are not popular, folks. They never have been, ever. Especially not in the United States, which has a natural genetic entrepreneurial spirit. I've explained this to people over and over. The people who come to the United States are very entrepreneurial. They want to work. That's why they're here. There's something in the gene code of people who've shown up on these shores, and the people who fought the revolution and passed those genes down, they do not want to be subjugated. I'm not saying it's completely unique to the United States, but I'm telling you, you're darn right should be proud that you live here, because there's something in the gene code of the people who come to the United States and people who are sons of the revolution here that they will not be subjugated. They don't want their money taken, they don't want their healthcare taken, and they don't want their kids' education choices limited. They don't. That is the essence of this country. The Democrat, liberal, socialist agenda is not popular. The Democrats post-FDR figured this out, and they realized they can't legislate it, because to legislate it, you need what? Legislators who get what? Elected. You can't get elected if there's not a popular mandate for what you're doing. Now, leave it to the socialists to figure an end around in their endless quest for power. Remember, the ends justify the means. The central tenet of communism, Marxism, socialism, it's all the same. Euphemisms for government control, right? The end around has always been the courts. Always. So the liberals have engaged in a multi-decade effort to stack up the court system at the state, federal, and local level with a bunch of legislators from the bench who will invent rights they can't get passed by popular support. They can't get a massive nationwide late-term abortion bill mandating its legality. Should have finished that. Because it's not popular. People don't believe in that. They couldn't mandate in states a national referendum on making gay marriage legal. They couldn't, whether you agree with it or not, folks. They couldn't get it passed. Matter of fact, states had put in constitutional amendments saying no. So what they couldn't get done with their liberal agenda, they pushed through to the courts. Hence Roe and Obergefell, however you spell the name of the case. I shouldn't say the name of the case. They had to push it through in the courts. The courts were always their weapon. The courts were their de facto replacement for legislative inability to get people elected to pass an agenda they wanted to pass. Does this make sense? This is not an uncritical point here.